Advaita Khala. Now, you're a filmmaker, you're an author, you've been involved with films and projects and productions yourself. The thing is, it is made from somebody's point of view. Like Emergency is made from Kangana Ranaut's point of view. She's a BJP MP, she has a right-wing perspective, and naturally those who aren't from that point of view will maybe not like Emergency. The thing is, where do you draw the line? Now, if there are some people who are offended with IC814, is it appropriate for the Information and Broadcasting Ministry to call in the Netflix head honcho and say, explain what's happening in this film? It's somebody's perspective, which is the case with all cinema.
Right, and that should be the case ideally. And my default setting obviously is free speech and all of those things that go with it, because it's a question of livelihood for someone like me. However, I think when you are speaking of true events, especially events that have scarred the nation's psyche, it could be 9/11 in the... Now, if you're going to speak about the bumbling bureaucracy and the polity of that time, no problem. Please go ahead and represent them if that's who they really were. And it was a colossal failure, and if that has been entered in the seas of the filming. But if you're going to then extend this largesse or this Che Guevara treatment to terrorists who are out there for a very specific purpose, who had a very specific agenda, if you're going to humanize them, if you're going to have a character say this person is hot, if you're going to give the ISI a clean chit, people are going to have a problem with it. And just say that, oh, these were the call signs which were Hindu names, sure, and use that is factually correct. That is what they used. But have you at any point indicated that these were aliases? That these were not actually their real names?
You know that. Did you once again, because in the beginning it's quite clear that they are Muslim by religion and these are Islamic terrorists. Surely he doesn't need to put a disclaimer that this Bhola is not his real name. I mean, who makes a film like that?
No, it isn't. No, Rahul, you can do it in two ways. You can put a disclaimer at the end of the series, or you can even write it into the script where you have a moment of oversight and the two refer to each other by their real names and then clam up. I mean, there are a lot of creative remedies.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, Advaita Khala says they should have put a disclaimer that Bhola and Shankar are aliases, call signs, nicknames. These are not their real names. That somehow the filmmaker seems to have a left-leaning bias. He seems to follow, as Bijit Iyer says, people who have taken strident anti-government positions, and this is basically putting on a left-leaning point of view, and therefore the right-wing...
Rahul, anti-Hindu.
Okay, anti-Hindu, and therefore...
And they say Hindu terror, Hindu genocidaires and whatnot. And they're the biggest supporters of Hamas and every Islamic terrorist group on earth, people like Saima and Rana Ayyub.
And therefore, it is bona fide, they argue, for the Information and Broadcasting Ministry to call the Netflix head honcho and get them to explain what's going on in IC814. Sanjay Jha.
Rahul, just give me a minute and I will debunk why the right wing today appears so rattled. The entire ecosystem of Mr. Modi's government, for whom the obsession is national security, today stands exposed. Let me expose Mr. Mitra right away on your program. Number one, does he even know that India's Home Minister, L.K. Advani, who is in charge of security, said that he had no idea. He had no idea that Jaswant Singh was traveling with terrorists on a plane to release them in Kandahar. I think the reason why the right wing today appears to be extremely paranoid, disturbed, and probably over the top is because their entire obsession of this muscular nationalism has been torn to shreds and exposed based on history. What is the second reality, Rahul? I'm not indulging in the rhetoric that Mr. Mitra did. I'm going to give you a second fact. The raw chief, former raw chief, A.S. Dulat, went on record to tell that the government goofed up. There are his words, saying no decisions were taken and it was a colossal failure. Point number three, the plane was for 45 minutes in Lahore, but Mr. Vajpayee's government...
No, it wasn't in Lahore, it was in Amritsar. You got your facts wrong there.
No, in Amritsar for 45 minutes. And the Punjab police, just don't interrupt me, please. Please do not interrupt me. Please do not interrupt me.
Abhijit Iyer, let him speak. Let him speak. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Sanjay Jha, complete your argument. It was Amritsar, not Lahore, but go on.
So I'm making that correction. It was in
Go on.
Had the wherewithal to stop the plane from taking off, but Mr. Vajpayee's government was sleeping. These are three hard realities nobody from the BJP can contradict. Point number 4, the reason why they're worried is because the people of India are watching the truth on a party that has fooled the country on their national security hype. Everybody knows that even in Kargil, there was a shepherd by the name of Tashi Namgyal who alerted the Indian army. That was the intelligence failure of the BJP. I mean, these are the truths that people need to know.
Okay.
I think people need to know about the Gujarat files. They need to know about the Manipur files. They need to know about the Muzaffarnagar files. They need to know about the Rafael files. They need to know about the Adani files. They need to know about the Delhi riots. Them be out in the open. Respect the verdict of the audience. Stop clamping on freedom.